Today on my channel planner, friends, I'm going to show you 1 week in my brand new faith planner, and I'm going to show you how I'm studying this differently. I did some of this before and I picked it up again because I didn't finish it, and I'm doing it very differently, and I've already learned a lot in 1 week. So Sundays is the day for faith and Jesus, and of course, as always, a good mug of tea. So please stay tuned, friends. Hello, planner friends, and welcome to my channel. I'm One Crafty Dolo, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Thank you for taking your time and spending it with me. So today is exciting for me because it's the first faith video of the new year, and that just makes me incredibly happy and joyous. And yeah, so let's get into it. If you're new, why not subscribe and join us and tap the notification bell. If you're returning, thank you. I love the community we're creating, and I appreciate your comments and your likes and your interaction. So today we are going to talk about what I did this week in this new faith study. Yay! As I like to say on Sundays, it's all about Jesus, faith studies, Bible journaling, and I always have a good mug of tea with me. Okay, so I had started this before and I didn't finish it, and what I've done is completely different from what I did before and restarting it. So I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me just show you what I've done in terms of setup. So this is a normal 2024 happy planner. It's a horizontal layout. It's butterflies because, you know, I'm obsessed with butterflies. What I did is I took 6 months out of it, okay? It's thin right now, but I know it's going to chunk up, but I kept 6 months in, took 6 months out. I had picked up this as a Happy Notes. I found these discs in my collection. So I took the Happy Notes cover, put it together on these bigger discs because the Happy Notes here, I'll show you the guts because I still have 2 sections left. These are so small, right? Which makes sense. They're not large. But what I did is I put that cover on. I love this cover. It's so pretty. And then I put the other 6 months in here, waiting in abeyance. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And I ended up taking one section of the Happy Notes and putting it in here. So let me show you what I've done so far, and then I'm going to walk you through this. I sat down before the new year, before Christmas, and I played with stickers. And I forgot how much fun stickers and some markers can be. So I actually decorated the whole month using they're mostly Happy Planner stickers, and then I added in different, I'm not the best doodler, but so what? Do it anyway, right? Do it scared. And I added in some color here. I might add a little more on the sides. I'm not sure. Isn't this pretty? I love how it turned out. I used stickers I'd just gotten. I don't know. I really like it. And I forgot how much fun stickers can be. And it was a really great thing to do, to sit down in the middle of the holiday season and say, you know what? I'm taking time. This is what I'm doing. And it really brought my stress level down. So let me show you how I did this week. I'm in love with this study in a very different way than I was before. So let me explain briefly. In this book, which is available at Hobby Lobby, I've also seen some libraries have it. I've seen that some libraries have it. So you may want to check with your library, or if they're interlibrary loan, you can find it. It's, you know, you don't have to buy it. I bought it, but yeah, that was I didn't realize it would be in a library, to be honest with you, and there it was. Okay, so it goes through women in the Bible who are either together in some way or different. It's hard to explain, but we start off with Sarah and Hagar, and then we go to Rachel and Leah, Tamar and Ruth, Deborah and Yael, Hannah and Miriam, and so forth. And what she does in this, and again, I'm handling this very differently than before. I feel that all the faith studies I've done now. I've been so actively doing these faith studies for over 2 years, and added the second one a year ago, September. I've gotten better at it. And that's partially why I come on here and talk to you about it, because I want to inspire you in your own faith and your own creativity. So what she does in the beginning is give you relevant passages, and then she fleshes out the story, say, of Sarah's life. Who was she? And what the scripture says and what it doesn't say. Okay? And then she goes through the one woman. I'm going to continue in this for next week. And then once you get through that, let me see here. Hold on. Yeah, then you get to Hagar. Okay? And it's the same thing. And as you know, Sarah is barren. She tells Abraham to have a child with her servant Hagar. She gives birth to Ishmael, and the relationship, and it's about trusting God, and the relationship between Sarah and Hagar changes. And yeah, so here's what I did with this, just to give you an idea, because there's 2 parts to this. I'm going to bring in a little closer. If I say so myself, I just love this burst of color. What a great way to start the year. I went and I read the whole thing. Then I went back, and as you can see, I have it bookmarked in there for writing this next week. And I used this mostly, not completely, but I used this for the verses, this section, because I wasn't sure how I was gonna flesh it out in these boxes. So what I decided to do is I go back and forth. You can see this, goes chronologically, but she starts off with Sarah. I will bless her, and moreover, I will give you a son by her. I will bless her, and she shall become. She shall become nations. Kings of peoples shall come from her. Sarah is the matriarch of the Jews, and then the matriarch of us as Christians, because the Old Testament is the foundation for our New Testament. And I talk about different things she says in there. Then we go to Sarah 2, where she saw that her infertility was God breaking his promise, right? And that's what this verse is basically saying. And she's really frustrated. And the message in all of this is what happens when we are impatient, because we are. What happens when we're frustrated, because we are. And we lose sight of the fact of trusting God's plan and timing over ours. So I put this verse here, and then I kind of extrapolated a little. She saw her infertility as God breaking his promise. So she decided to take it into her own hands. When we stop trusting God's plans and timing, it's not good. It's just not. And, it's just interesting. And then once she conceives, Hagar, that is, once Hagar conceives, it completely changes the relationship between the women, and he Abraham, and then becomes Abraham. He is loyal to Sarah. And it's really quite interesting how this works, because there's comfort for Sarah and there's comfort for Hagar. So I love how this looks, if I say so myself. So I fleshed out these verses here. Then what I did is, in the back, I took the first section from that Happy Notes, from the Happy Notes, because I thought these colors, I honestly thought I was going to use the butterfly ones I'd purchased. I'll link that haul video below. But then I saw these colors and I thought, well, gee, and here's what I did in here. I found all kinds of old stickers, and I used markers again, and I start here. Sarah, Abram becomes Abraham. She was a great beauty who drew attention wherever she went. She travels with her husband from Ur to Haran to Canaan to Canaan, we would say now in America, but Egypt, and she supports him throughout his dispute regarding Lot, his nephew, who is taken from Sodom. And then I put a little biblical reference here. And she's frustrated. Instead of trusting God, she pushes Hagar. And on the other side, Sarah's plan falls apart, and she resents Hagar once she conceives, sending her to flee. Abraham sides with Sarah. And I ask in here, what do their actions say about Sarah's place in their marriage? And my answer is not to put a 21st century mindset on it. I didn't know what other verbiage to use here, but that she had a voice. And she had some agency in that marriage. And by not trusting God fully, she is human. And we see this lesson again and again. So I want you to think about this today. God still fulfills his promise of giving her a son. God remains faithful. Here we are in Genesis, right? First book, Old Testament. Some people call it the Hebrew Bible, the Torah, whatever you want to call it. And one of the earliest lessons is trusting, but being shown what we as humans do. And boy, doesn't that resonate? Doesn't that just make you stop and think, and you're like, whoa, okay, it's not just me. And so what I'm going to do for next week is flesh it out a little more. Just old stickers that I found, and I'm doing it this way. So the front in the actual, I don't want to knock the camera here, this section, I will do the actual Bible verses mostly. I'll do a little bit of analysis, but I'm really taking my time and delving into it very differently than before. And already in this first week, I feel like I've gotten more out of it, if you can imagine. And by adding this back here, I think it really helps me flesh it out. So I just wanted to share that with you today, to tell you how it's going and to tell you this was a great thing for my creativity. Instead of doing the same that I always do, I did something different, and I'm studying it differently. So I'm going to keep you updated as I go forward in this study, but I want to thank you for being here. And I just want you to sit today, okay? First off, you're creative. You just don't know it. Don't be scared to try. But second off, I want you to remember this. By not trusting God fully, Sarah is human. And we see this again and again and again. And yet, God remains faithful. So I want you to think about that. I'm certainly thinking about it this week. What are the times that I thought I had to solve the problem instead of praying it up and trusting? And therein lies much of my anxiety. So issues. And that's part of why the study is already helping me in the first week, if you can imagine that. All right, planner friends, I really hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you for being here, my faith and planner friends, and have a blessed day. Bye, planner friends.